of the people at Westwood are so wonderful. You just feel so welcome here. It's like one big family.
Westwood's been great for our family. We've, for the first time, really felt part of a community, and our best friends are now going to the church, and it's just been a great experience for us.
Westwood has been a burning bush, holy ground type of experience for me because of how many times and how consistently God has met us just when we needed Him with just what we needed, and has then done incredible things from that.
Our first service took place on Easter Sunday, 1995, and it was a thrilling day. I came to the Chanhassen Dinner Theater, our start place that day, with excitement, adrenaline flow like you could never imagine. I was nervous, I was a little fearful, wondering who might come or not come on that given day.
I was on the worship support team, which meant I was in charge. Dave Meyer and I were in charge of all the ushers and the greeters and the information table and kind of the people that would be there to welcome everyone. And I remember praying, you know, we'd been meeting for a couple months and praying about that day with such excitement, and yet also kind of probably a little bit of doubt, I have to confess, because I thought, you know, who is going to show up? And we can seat 200, but will they even be 200? And Joel had said we were going to have 3 services, and you think that means we hope for 300 people.
But it was a joy-filled day as over 800 people came to celebrate the launch of Westwood Community Church.
Things that stand out to me, the little things and the big things, but some of the big things are the milestones of the baptism at the lake, when hundreds of people are baptized all together, or families all together baptized. To me, that's what it's all about. That's definitely been a highlight for our family, just watching that unfold and seeing every time. And when it's freezing cold and there's waves out there, that people just want to proclaim their faith in Christ.
I think one of the things that was amazing in terms of how God would work things out in His time, not ours, is how the Chaska High School had just been built. It was newer. They had a lot of requests for rental, and rather than try to prioritize them and take them on, the school just put a moratorium on renting the building for a year. And we spent some of that time looking for alternatives. Just at the time when our contract, our rental agreement with the dinner theater was up, the high school's moratorium came off. And that was, I recall a board meeting where we were talking about that and how amazing, despite all of our angst, all of our fretting about where we were going to go, God always seemed to let us fret, and right exactly when we needed it, it would happen.
And that was an incredible transition, and I think one of the largest and most challenging transitions, because the church was growing, the ministry was growing, and no longer were we carting equipment just simply across the street. We were actually carting equipment now 4 or 5 miles. And that required a 26-foot low dock level truck and a crew of about 8 to a dozen guys every single morning, every single Sunday morning, that showed up at the office at 6 a.m. to have the equipment at the high school by 7:30 so it could be set up and ready to go for an 8:30 service. The challenge of those days, though, caused an incredible sense of teamwork and commitment, because what we were doing was almost impossible.
When the parcel of land that we've built on now became available, that in and of itself was a miracle, because we had approached those people before and it was not available. When it became available, it's hard to express the size that miracle was, because in a city like Chanhassen, in the state of growth that it's in, that amount of land at that price just simply isn't available by any human imagination.
That Sunday we came and we blessed the ground and then had the groundbreaking ceremony. It was sort of snowy rain coming down, but yet there was a huge group of people there, and we were all very excited and blessed about the fact that we can actually break ground, and we saw the vision starting to be realized.
And there was a point in that dedication service where I backed away from the area where people were congregating, and I looked down toward Tanaduna, which is where our entrance road is now. And I saw the stream of people that were coming to the dedication site, and they looked like the children of Israel.
You are amazing people. Maybe foolish, but amazing, amazing people. And this is a great celebration, and this is outstanding. Thanks for coming out and celebrating today this groundbreaking ceremony. 1, 2, 3, dig. Hallelujah.
When I think about the people that he brought to us, when I think about the talents, the skills they had, the dedication that they had, the willingness to sacrifice, the resources that Westwood's people brought, and the willingness that they had to sacrifice to make this building happen. And then I see the building on the site, but more than that, I see the building on the site with the people of Westwood in it, laughing and enjoying fellowship and being discipled and supporting one another. It's phenomenal to see the work that God's done there and the miracle that he's caused to happen through those of us that were willing to make ourselves available. During our worship time, I will position myself in places in the congregation where I can just look at all the people that have filled that room. And I try to imagine what God is doing in their lives, because if he's done as much as he has for my family and I, if I take that times the thousands of people that come to Westwood, what does that all add up to for God's kingdom? And so I find myself panning our congregation and just trying to imagine what those stories are.
As we begin our second decade of ministry together, it is my dream that we will be faithful to the purpose that God gave to us in the very beginning, that we would honor God by enjoying him through reaching people with the love of Jesus Christ, and that we would be a community that would demonstrate God's love in creative and compelling ways that would lead people to know God, to worship him authentically, to grow spiritually, and to connect relationally, and to serve joyfully. Together, let's be a community with open hands,
receiving from God all he wants to give,
believing he wants to give us a lot, and with open hands,
giving it away,
believing we cannot outgive God.